For today's Cyber CEO episode,
𝗙𝗲𝗃 is amazing, and it's been a great partnership. I've seen a lot of successes with it. It's amazing. It's such a huge benefit for us, and yeah, just very powerful. 𝗙𝗲𝗃, he made all the calls, he did the follow-up, he set the appointments, and he's been their encourager. So when they sit with me, they're like, yeah, 𝗙𝗲𝗃, and they don't know he's virtual. So that's awesome. The other one we just hired at the other market center, she does all of our social media stuff. So there's a lot of different functions to be able to bring people along with high impact. So thank you.
welcome to Cyber CEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. Cyber CEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Another great day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of Cyber CEO. And of course, we have a very special guest on the show, Christy. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good to know that. And of course, we're very, very excited to have you on the show to get to know more about you and your experience with Virtual Leverage and Cyberbacker. But before we head on to that, though, I need your help here real quick. Can you tell us something about yourself and what you do, Christy?
Yeah, so I'm the team leader, the CEO of my little business here in Libertyville, Illinois, Keller Williams North Shore West. We oversee 2 market centers, and so we serve over 300 agents, and I have traveled the world. And so in my previous jobs, I've actually been to the Philippines. So that's actually been really fun as we talk about Cyberbacker and just connecting with the people that we have hired and serve with.
Gosh, I already visited the Philippines. So how does that feel now that you are working with someone who is in the Philippines, but virtually?
Yeah, it's actually really helpful because there are seasons of the year that the weather patterns are really difficult for the Philippines. And so as we talk in our leadership mornings and our huddles every single morning about what we're grateful for or, just kind of touch base, it's actually really important for us to here in our market center to also have a worldview that not everyone's world is the same. And so things like electricity, things like weather stuff, and everything that happens over in the Philippines and in that area are huge concerns to us as well. So we it's helped globalize our staff, our leadership team a little bit more too.
Gosh, at least yes, because again here the weather in the Philippines sometimes is pretty crazy during the wet season, of course, and it's upcoming. Actually, in the next few months, gonna be here. The season's gonna be here. So, how about in real estate though? How long have you been doing this?
So my current position as a team leader, I've been in about 18 months, and I come from the nonprofit world of overseeing international teams and doing nonprofit work in microloan business and poverty, anti-human trafficking, all of those kinds of things, like different kinds of businesses. And so jumping into this was a significant change. Yeah. And I absolutely love it.
Gosh, a lot of change, of course, for the better. Now, how about working with someone virtual? Just like what you're doing with your Cyberbacker. Is this a first for you?
So it's not, because I worked with international, not just going there, but then also, Africa, India, parts of Latin America. So we did a lot of Zoom and a lot of, I think that it took me a little bit of getting used to because I really, so my Cyberbacker is amazing. His name is 𝗙𝗲𝗃. And I just needed to develop a pattern of realizing that he was not going to succeed if I didn't give him time. So, and I've had to really train our high performing agents as they have taken on a Cyberbacker as well. Like, how would you feel if you never saw someone's face?
True.
And if you were just getting these constant texts or calls that are just random and nothing gets filled into the middle. And so it took me a little bit to be able to understand that I needed to understand 𝗷𝗫𝗄's like personal life too, and just develop a relationship. But then also like, how do I set him up for success during the week? And now it's amazing. It didn't take us long.
I think those are really the steps on how to create a successful partnership, especially when you're working with someone virtual anyway, just making them feel that they are part of the team too, right?
Yep. Yes, very much so. And we now have 2 cyberbackers that we work with. I've worked with another one as far as scrubbing and doing extreme makeovers on our agents as we recruit and bring them over on their databases. But then it's also setting up our high performing agents to be able to take on those assistants as well. So it's working with humans, right? It's not working with robots. And so humans need interaction and touches and an understanding of what what would bring you success too. So it's, I would say that is 𝗙𝗯𝗃. It's probably the most crucial thing about the whole relationship is establishing clarity, and expectations, and then touching throughout the week of how things are going.
Absolutely agree with you there when it comes to communication and proper expectations. I think these things need to be set during the beginning of the partnership. How to communicate, how do you reach me, how do you call me, things like that. And of course, what we need to do within the first few months, first month, first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days too. I think you really need to have a plan, especially when you're planning to work with someone virtual, especially with Cyberbacker. Now, 𝗷𝗫𝗄, your Cyberbacker, talk to me more about him. What's it like working with him every day? What's he like as a person?
Yeah. Well, I have 3 sons and they're all in their 20s. 𝗷𝗫𝗄 is in his 20s. And so it's actually been fun because we've been able to share pictures of families and stuff like that. And so there's a sweet relationship. But I'm fast paced, and it's like, I want people to jump on a treadmill and I want them to like keep pace with me. And so he does a great job. We start out in the mornings and we did a lot of role playing and script. Because he does all of my calls for a certain amount of agents in recruiting. And so that's a very tough job. We both do that. And it's just a lot of cold calling. And so to find someone that wants to do that is number one. But then the other thing is just scripting it so that it sounds like you. As we know, we get calls all the time from, everyone around the world, and they're scripted to be very businesslike and basically never take no for an answer. And so I had to work with him more on the relational side and on the showing emotion in your voice and on the smiling when you are talking on the phone, because it makes a difference. And so that took time. We did that every morning for several weeks, back and forth. He would role play with me. I would go back, and all that. And then he has been with me he's been with us because he helps to serve the leadership team, but mostly works with me, for a year. And it's been a great partnership. I've seen a lot of successes with it, and then have added things to his plate. If this is all going out to Keller Williams people, he oversees 𝗙𝗄. And so those new agents coming in, like out of real estate school, he there's just a list of different things. He helps out with our TeamRidge program. So he's talking all the time into our inside agents, inviting them to things, finding out how they're doing, but then he's also doing the cold calling. So does that make sense?
Gosh, that does make sense. So basically what I got is he's almost everywhere in the business then, almost.
Well, mostly in the recruiting.
In the recruiting
and
part.
then in the mostly on that side, and anything for systems. Like 𝗷𝗫𝗄 is amazing. And I think that's part of finding out where people's skills and abilities are. Some people just aren't going to be great on social media, but then other things like on creating, if I say to him, can you create a system to be able to track and can I see something by 5:00? He's like, yep, I'm on it, And so then I get that. And then if it needs to be tweaked, I've asked him to go tweak it, or there's a great, and stop me if I'm going on and on, but there's a great support system at Cyberbacker too.
Course,
so there have been times when I say, 𝗙𝗷𝗻𝗄, I really need you to go in and understand our command technology platform, not from the recruiting and the market center side, but from the agent side. I want you to come back and help me understand everything that they see. And so it took a couple weeks, and he went off and got trained while he was working for me every day, and then came back and showed me some stuff. And so like, there's that, right? You can tag team with their growing abilities, just like we would anyone else that's working with us.
100% agree with you there. Again, it's just for the growth, of course, and investing in the success of your cyberbacker as well. Now, you mentioned earlier a lot of role plays, meetings, touch bases during the beginning of the partnership. How important is that to make sure that this partnership is going to be successful?
Well, I think at the beginning, it's crucial because so you have to imagine if you were bringing on someone that was going to be your administrative assistant, executive assistant working in your office, how much time are you going to spend with them? If you don't spend a whole lot, they're just going to find things out on their own from other people, which works, except that sometimes it doesn't work as well because it's not the way that you want it.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
So having them shadow you, having them understand, like there are times when I stop and I say, 𝗙𝗷𝗻𝗄, do you know what I'm talking about? He goes, no. And I said, well, we just started this, or this is what this looks like. This is how it all connects together. And he goes, oh, I get it. And then he can have conversations with agents around those things. I think we do a disservice, 𝗙𝗪, to people when we just do not give them the amount of time for training. It doesn't matter where they're at.
Absolutely.
Because we have expectations and they don't know what they are. And then we want them to meet them. And then we're frustrated when they don't. And in the real estate world, everything is so fast paced. There's 1,000 fires to put out and you still have to advance things. And so it's just really helping that person know what's priority and how we work. You know, I work differently than you would work with him. And so, and to ask him, how are you doing? How is this working for you? Does this bring you joy? You know, are there things that are frustrating? And he sometimes will say, yeah, because people aren't getting back to me on the leadership team when I email them. So I go, well, copy me, CC me, and then you need to be aggressively, cheerfully persistent. And he's like, oh, okay. So, you know, it's just helping to empower people to be able to serve you and come alongside you in the best way. It's crucial.
Very, very important, of course. And I think I love what you mentioned earlier. Again, just making them feel that they have the authority as well. Again, just giving them the help that they need. Again, this is like an investment of your time. The more time you invest in your cyberbacker during the beginning of the partnership, then the less time you're gonna need to invest in the future. They're gonna know what to do, how to do it, and why they're doing it too. Right?
Yeah. And I would say it continues, 𝗙𝗪, though. So there is the training, but because life changes so much, it is continued. Part of what I love about it is that all day long, I'm just texting him. Hey, can you set up this appointment? Can you find this? Can you, and he's like, yep. And he's just, so if I'm in meetings all day long, I'm receiving information that's crucial from him in a timely manner. And so it's also learning that rhythm, that is just, I can't even tell you, it's such a huge benefit for us. And just very powerful.
And imagine, you mentioned earlier, you've only been working together with 𝗙𝗪𝗄 for the past year, right? Just a year so far.
Yeah. Thing, 𝗙𝗪, I would mention is that there's every so often we get emails that offers, to give someone a gift for their birthday, to give your cyberbacker a gift. Take advantage of that because, again, all of these people, whether they're in our market center, in our business, they work for us, with us, alongside, and we can't do it without them. And it's just a way to really show value and individualize.
Absolutely agree with you there. Again, just making them feel that they really are a part of the business, even if they're thousands of miles away, right? Now, how about challenges? I know challenges could be a part of growth. So far in the past year, have you encountered any challenges working with someone who's virtual?
Yeah, I think so. It's always the challenge. So I'm very much of a relationship person.
Mhm.
So like, I want to see you and I want to touch you too. Like I want to like hug you. Right. So that's hard because, and that's why I have to spend a little bit extra time sometimes, because I'll realize, oh my gosh, I haven't even seen Aldrich's face in 2 weeks because all we've done is phone calls and texts. And so then I go, I need to actually, see his face. And so that of being reminded of that is actually hard sometimes for me to remember that. Or when we have leadership team gatherings and we're doing lunch together or something like that, he misses out. And so that's a little tough. I would say that people just need to, in working with cyberbackers, also learn a little bit of cultural differences.
Okay. True.
And just be aware of diversity and be aware of, like if on a morning call, Aldrich says that it's the wet, rainy season, it's taken me a little while to realize that that is a big hindrance to him because he's having to deal with laundry in a whole different way, right? Or he's having to, and it's not that it affects his work. It's just the need to step back and realize that someone's world is not exactly like yours, which all of our agents are different, and so we spend time building relationship with them to better understand their world. It's the same thing with a cyberbacker that's virtual. So I think sometimes the issues that I see pop up are more around just a lack of slowing down and communicating. And saying, hey, like, I felt like you didn't totally understand that. So can you tell me what you heard? And that doesn't happen that often. But I think along the way, we've needed to do that or re-clarify. Like, hey, there's been a little season here where appointments are really down. What's happening? We just went through that season. Last week, I did a lot of role playing again with him. And just like, hey, I know that this is hard, but we've got to pull through this. And because we hadn't done that in probably 5 months, role played. So it's hard when you're making, 150 calls a day.
Oh, yeah.
And you're leaving messages, right? So that's part of his job. So it's my job to keep him encouraged and to help us get appointments.
Now, just the one thing I noticed, the way you talk about your cyberbacker, Aldrich, and also the partnership that you've created with him. It's not just a business partnership, right? There's somewhat of a friendship right there too. Am I right?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've also had a great impact in his career, in his life as well. But one last question while I still have you here. It's been a year working with your cyberbacker. What's been the biggest impact of working with cyberbacker in the business so far?
Personally, I feel like he took a bunch of details off my plate that allow me to leverage my time in a different way, which is the whole point. I mean, the whole point is that for a high producing agent or for another leader in a market center, that if I could give away 10 hours of stuff or more, right? So that I could do what's my one thing. How would that change my world? And so it has really changed my world, as well as he has just been part of our recruiting world. I mean, I just onboarded someone yesterday that Aldrich found through a text campaign that he ran. I want to say that this R2, a high producing, was in November where we got in touch, and Aldrich made the first call, set the appointment, did all that, did the follow-up, some of the follow-up. And then this guy has finally come over this month. And so there's others like that along the way that are either from 𝗙𝗂𝗃. We just brought on 5 in the last month. And Aldrich, we sat together, but he made all the calls. He did the follow-up. He set the appointments, and he's been their encourager. So when they sit with me, they're like, yeah, Aldrich, and they don't know he's virtual, So that's awesome. The other one we just hired at the other market center, she does all of our social media stuff. She does, she is scrubbing people's databases. So she does the whole extreme makeover of their databases. She sets them up in command. So there's a lot of different functions to be able to bring people along with high impact.
Of course.
Now, so thank you.
This is the part actually, because for sure, once we have this online, Aldrich is going to be able to listen and watch this. So before we go, would you want to give him a special message or a quick shout out on the show?
Of course I do. Aldrich, I love you. And I'm so grateful for your work and so grateful for how you've changed our lives and the market center world and our agents. And you are a part of this team. And I'm just very, very grateful for you.
Go. Christy, we're very, very excited to seeing the continued success and the growth of this partnership. Once again, thank you very much for being on the show. I know you're very busy. We really appreciate the time. I hope we can have you here real soon again.
Thanks. Thanks, 𝗙𝗪𝗪. Love your name.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of Cyber CEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.